Hello, I'm Michael Trino from House of Attention. We're here at FHS in Riyadh, and I'm talking with Alex. Alex, please tell us about yourself and about the way that you approach hospitality.
Sure. So I've been in the region for 24, 25 years. You can hear from my accent, very British, but also as well, I am from the region on my dad's side, married to the region as well, because my wife is from Bahrain. But lived a long time in Saudi, working on different projects, including with developers as well. And for me, the tourism piece is really the Saudi story.
How do you differentiate tourism from hospitality? Because I think I recognize that Saudi tourism, driven by the religious tourism for the last 60 years, has a certain draw and a pull and an energy. Yeah. But the specific hospitality, when you're on the ground, the warmth, again, it could be powered by that, but it is a different kind of energy than just the tourism. So as somebody who's expert in the region, how do you define that difference between tourism and hospitality?
I define hospitality as the everyday experiences that you are going to have with the Saudis around you.
Yep.
Particularly, your Saudi sort of, I know it sounds strange, but the Saudi host.
Yeah.
A person who you could meet anywhere. You could meet them in a car, you can meet them on the metro, on the plane. So, somebody who just wants to strike up a conversation with you, and they're going to invite you to their home. They're going to invite you for dinner. And again, you say to somebody here, dinner, and a foreigner may think, this is going to be, a small meal. For a Saudi, no. You are going to go to the Majlis. You're going to be served probably one of the biggest dishes you're ever going to see in your life.
Yep.
And it's going to be very much an experience, from walking in, from the reception you get, from the dates, from the coffee, all the way up to, sitting down, the huge pile of rice, with the main dish as well. And then, the conversation starts flowing as well.
I love this idea that welcoming energy and the conversation is the first thing, right? Because I think in this world right now, human connection is one of the most vital and misunderstood things, right? There's a lot of polarization, but literally every time I step on the ground in Saudi, I'm welcomed with a smile and a set of questions, inquisitiveness, and a general openness of discovery. How did you get here? What are you doing in our country? And how can we support your mission, or can we show you other things? I really appreciate your simplicity in that definition. How do you apply your vision of hospitality for the industry here so that people can know what they would reach out to you for, right?
I think the best way that I can sum this up. So my wife worked in AlUla previously, and I've always wanted to go. We've been in the region for over 2 decades. If you think about AlUla, it's stunning.
Yes.
You go there and you're just blown away by the history of all the civilizations who have been there, because it is literally a crossroads of humanity. And what struck me was when we went and we booked the tours, we went on the tour, and every single tour we went on, the guide and the host was a Saudi. They were local. Often as well, they were female. And she may have been wearing a niqab, for example, which is not unsurprising given, in rural areas, that's where you often find. But the English was fluent, the hosting, the politeness, the desire to not only answer any question, but give the people on the tour the full experience of everything about the history from A to Z, from 2,000 years back until today. And that really struck me because, you can go to many places in the region and you don't get that depth, the warmth, the desire really to make that trip. And again, they do this day in, day out. But for them, the desire to make it special for you. And that really struck me. And it stays with me until today.
Whether it's a high-end audio lounge in New York, a museum in London, or a hotel in Riyadh, what is one new physical split space that completely blew your mind?
So we had a great experience on New Year's.
Okay.
It's something, and again, the Saudis will appreciate this. New Year's, what often they would do, they would go to Bahrain for whatever reason you could think of. I'm not going to go into the reasons. And they would celebrate New Year's in Bahrain.
Yeah.
This year, or the past year, I had my wife's family coming from Bahrain to spend it in Riyadh.
Oh, nice.
And what did we do on New Year's Eve? Where did we spend New Year's, counting it down? We went to Six Flags,
Oh, wow.
Qiddiya.
That's incredible.
So we went there. We all rushed in 4:00. What did the kids do? They literally spent 8 hours going on every big, tall, fast roller coaster you can think of. And then again, we counted down New Year's 2026 in Saudi's first theme park on
Brilliant.
the first day of opening. And I think that sort of summed up a couple of things to me. One is how quickly hospitality and tourism is evolving here.
Yep.
Two, how the fact that it's drawing people in who wouldn't otherwise come.
Yep.
Like a bunch of teenage girls and also one boy from Bahrain. Why would they come here for New Year's? But I think also as well, the investments which they're making, which are now really paying off.
And again, like that kind of center of gravity, creating a moment that you felt compelled to bring your family to, but then you feel is also like executed upon with the kind of level. This is exactly what the region does time and time again super well. And it's the type of story that I know you and your organization are doing a great job of getting to the outside world. I am here to help that be felt more in those external markets, so that that bridge can be made. Those moments can be seen, and people can aspire to want to spend their time in Riyadh for the New Year's in the same way they want to spend it in London or New York. I mean, I grew up taking the train into the city on New Year's with my friends to watch the ball come down.
Ball drop.
And that little moment is, you do it 2 or 3 times, and then you feel that thing, and it's a story you tell for your whole life. And to know that that energy and that thoughtfulness is intentionally being created from the ground up here without replicating something someone else is doing, and that hear that it was impactful to you is amazing. All right, so what is an industry trend that you think people are getting totally right, and what is one that you think people are getting totally wrong?
I feel that they are getting the experience of welcoming people into the country. They're doing a better job on that. And again, I recount when I first came over 30 years ago, and I see it today.
Yep.
The difference is just night and day.
Yep.
Especially when you look at, say, Jeddah, which I think I'm fair to say that you find more people as tourists going into Jeddah because of Mecca and Medina.
Yeah, for sure.
I think where we can look at stepping up the game is on the medium tier and the lower tier options for tourists. There's a big focus, understandably, on that high-end experience. But again, we've got to try and cater to a bigger audience, get more people in, and let more people see what Saudi has to offer.
So in that idea with the high levels, usually those cultural institutions that drive local involvement, local culture, are at that ultra premium level because they have the budget to interact with both that local and international community to create excellence. What's a way that you think that we can do that at those mid-tiers? Because I believe as well, those experiences that are more accessible to both Saudis and international tourists would start to expand who would want to come in here, who would aspire to come here.
I think you've got an option in terms of the culture and the history.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing more investment going to, for example, museums.
Yes.
And cultural exhibits. And that's across the board. That's in Jeddah, Riyadh, Dammam, and also as well, those tourist hotspots. I think also you've got an opportunity in terms of the Saudi interactions, especially a Saudi as a host.
Yep.
And actually, I think that's where you've got a bigger opportunity outside of the main urban centers in, again, the tourism hotspots. You think about maybe Asir, or you think about AlUla, going out, meeting a Saudi family, going to the farm, having the spread, being welcome and seeing what it's like to experience Saudi hospitality at its best.
Yeah, in the early 2012, 2011 area, we were working with country of Panama on their culinary tourism program. And we were there when they started first roasting their own coffee in the country, right? So a bunch of guys went to the US and to the UK, Colombia, they trained on that process. But we're talking about the best coffee in the world was grown in Panama, and it was immediately shipped to Tokyo. And that first batch of geisha roasted by Panamanians in Panama, you could see the excitement. You could feel it outside of the building. You could feel it in their cafes when they were pouring it for the rest of that year. We did it. We own this whole supply chain now. I cannot wait to see how that comes to life here as well, because being on that finca in the middle of the jungle, watching the cacao and the coffee grow next to each other, and then going back down to Panama City and having the best espresso of my life. I mean, that is what people are looking for. That is that lived experience. And if you can couple that with a beautiful bed, nice linens, an amazing spa, now you have the whole package, right? All right, next question. Is there a recent project that you're particularly proud of or one that helps ground and inform your thinking of the state of hospitality?
So look, in terms of a good project, in terms of something with it that is sort of raising the bar, so to speak, what I would say I'm very excited about is the commercial launch of Riyadh Air.
Oh, yes.
So you got to think, first of all, Riyadh, city of 8 million, capital, it needs its own airline.
Yep.
So people often get confused because Saudi is actually not based in Riyadh. Its hub is in Jeddah.
Yep.
Because again, traditionally, it was servicing Hajj and Umrah.
Yep.
But with Riyadh Air, what it does do, if you couple that with the new airport, which they're building, is it turns Riyadh into a hub which can rival anything in the region or even globally. Then you're also talking about a different service level. And anybody who's going to go on Riyadh Air, you're going to experience that. You know, seeing what they're trying to do, seeing who they want to bring in, seeing the routes that they want to develop. And you're looking at several hundred planes by 2030, just in time for Riyadh Expo.
100%.
So that is potentially a game changer for not just the country, but the city and everything that's going to be coming from today onwards, you know, be it the Expo or be it the World Cup as well.
And House of Attention is focused on building this bridge between the GCC and those external markets. Those destinations are the places that we are the most excited about launching those bridge points, right? Because if those direct flights are coming right here to Riyadh, how can we generate that groundswell of interest in those markets intentionally with not only the Saudi voice in mind, but that global Arab voice in mind, so that when I'm in London, I'm excited about doing it and I aspire to hop on that plane and come over and have those experiences. What is a dream project one? This is a good one, right? What is a dream project that you and your team are thinking about, and where would you like to add your magic and why?
So a dream project for me would be helping to train the next generation of Saudi tourism communicators.
Yes.
I've lived the tourism experience here. I lived in Jeddah, Riyadh. Don't know how many times I've been to Dammam on the way to Bahrain, but I've been to Tabuk, Jubail, Jizan, Asir, all over the place.
Yep.
And I've seen everything, experienced everything, probably not everything, but experienced enough in terms of what Saudi has to offer. And Saudi has so much. You know, the size of the country, it's Germany, France combined. The diversity as well between the different regions. Yeah. It's something that people don't really appreciate until they're here. Now, what I think we can do is do a better job in terms of telling that story, telling the richness of that story, and getting out to global markets, getting out to international audiences, because that's how you start them thinking about wanting to come here. Yep. So the idea of going in and training the next generation of Saudi communicators and marketers, for me, that would be manna from heaven.
And Alex, to say on my side, I am super excited about training the people who are going to create the culture here based on the things that we've seen successful elsewhere. How can we get the 20-year-olds right now to feel confident about the music that they're making, the food that they're cooking, the art that they're creating, the words that they're writing, so that their intention and their cultural foundation can be theirs, and then their friends and their generation can communicate it to the outside world. So again, that inspiration fits on a generational level.
I'd even add on to that. And, you know, seeing this firsthand, the sports that we have today, you know, going to a football game, the passion is unbelievable. Going to an entertainment venue, which they have many, going to, again, a theater to see a show, going to, you know, one of the theme parks, everything's happening here.
Yep.
And it's about making sure that people outside see that. And then again, you get them excited in terms of what's going on, and you get them thinking about, okay, you know, why should I visit Saudi? And then once I made up my mind, what should I do while I'm there? So I can have that full-on authentic experience.
Yep. How do you blend home communications, like homegrown communications, rooted here versus the international influencing market, and how that is used as a storytelling device?
It's an interesting question, you know, blending the local and international markets. What I find is that the younger generation of Saudis, many of them have studied abroad.
Yep.
So they understand, obviously, their own culture, but increasingly understand what is happening outside. Now, what we've got to do is, I think, feel comfortable and confident in the story that we've got to tell.
Okay.
Because traditionally, And it still exists in some areas. There is skepticism in terms of what's happening. There is a legacy in terms of reputation, which needs to be overcome. So we've got to go out. We've got to win over doubters. We've got to have tough conversations in terms of media who may be, again, skeptical or even hostile.
Yep.
But again, without those conversations, nothing's going to happen.
Not going to change, yeah.
I think it's, the courage, it's that belief in terms of what you want to say and how you want to say it. And then, you win them over one person at a time, one media outlet at a time.
Yep.
But what I see with the young generation, the confidence that they have and the desire as well to try and change that and really push forward in terms of talking about the kingdom. Again, it gives me so much joy and belief to see that, and knowing that things are going to change very quickly. Hello, my name is Alex Malouf. I am the co-founder and managing partner at Narrative Shapers. We're a communications advisory firm. What we do is we take the story of Saudi abroad. We support companies in terms of advisory services, in terms of training and also events. If any vertical has a great story to tell internationally, it's tourism and hospitality. So thank you.